listening to the main event Swerve. This is Triple H doing the introduction for this episode. Blackjack will be here in a few minutes, but I just wanted to thank you for coming in and listening. I thought I'd give that one a try. My Triple H voice isn't, well, it's alright. It's not as good as Smalls. But hey, what's up, guys? Blackjack here. Main event Swerve. I believe this is episode number 5 or 6. I've lost track at this point. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what happened on Raw last night. I actually watched, I believe, the first 2 hours of it, and then I left. At about 10 o'clock, I went out, had some fun with friends and whatnot, and then I came back this morning and I watched the rest of Raw. There are a few things that I want to talk about, mostly the whole corporation storyline, Triple H just being all sorts of out of control and probably being the most over thing on the program right now. I guess I want to touch a little bit on Total Divas because I know I'm gonna have to hit it at some point because they had a match, so I feel like it's going to be appropriate. Oh, and it'll also give me time to also cover AJ Lee's excellent promo that she did last week, and I didn't get a chance to touch on. So let's go through I'm trying to remember what happened first. Right, Triple H kicked off Raw. Bow down to the king, everybody. And Triple H, he's doing his little speech spiel and whatever, and talking about, what's best for business, making Randy Orton best for business. A little bit during that whole promo that he did, I felt like he was shooting at internet fans. Like it was almost as if he was directly talking to internet fans who were like really upset that Daniel Bryan isn't champion. And after listening to him say that, it makes way too much sense what he's saying, because just think about it. The fact that Bryan isn't champion right now and Randy Orton is making you pissed off, and it's making you want to watch more until Daniel Bryan wins the title again. Granted, there are some internet people who seriously think, "Oh my God, I can't believe you just buried him," and blah 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 blah. He's not being buried. He's not. There's going to be a moment where Daniel Bryan is going to overcome the corporation, and it is going to make him. He's going to be over to the moon. Like he's already more over than Cena. He's going to push Cena down way further on the pedestal, except for the kids. But even then, I think the kids are kind of moving to his side. So I feel like Triple H was almost. It's so weird. He's so clearly the heel in his persona. And that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the heel. Yet in so many ways, he's the baby face. He is the baby face right now. Because what he's essentially done is that he's set up his minions and everything, his heels. He is essentially Randy Orton. He is the mouthpiece to Randy Orton. Randy Orton doesn't need to talk. He doesn't need to say anything. All he needs to do right now is to continue to be Randy Orton. Be this Viper character, be the snake. This is and that's what Randy Orton is. He is a Viper with legs. He really is. And the fact that Triple H is speaking for him and he doesn't have to say anything makes Randy Orton that much more deadly. All he has to do is just perform in the ring, put on a hell of a show, and he pretty much backs up anything Triple H claims, which is great. But I really do believe that the longer that Daniel Bryan doesn't have this title, the more weight the title has. Like I'm very invested in the WWE title now, and on top of that, the fact that the Shield is now aligned with the corporation, which by the way, that makes no sense to me. These guys were supposed to be the outsiders, if I last remember. Like their whole spiel wasn't it like, oh, they're they're not a big fan of wrestlers with like gimmicks or whatever, and they were just out like destroying people just for the hell of it, just because they could do that. Weren't they on some sort of a mission? When did they all of a sudden become Triple H's henchmen? Granted, they look the part. Like if Triple H were to have 3 henchmen right now, I think the Shield are have the best look for it, and currently are the most are the most dangerous faction in the WWE right now. But it just doesn't make, to me, knowing their history and knowing what they've done in the past, it almost makes no sense that they are corporate now. They're supposed to be the outsiders. How did this transformation happen? Anyway, but with the Shield being there, essentially what it's done is that it has made it's made all the titles important. Remember, because when Randy Orton and the Shield are together, you're essentially looking at the tag team champions, the U.S. champion, and the WWE champion. You have your tag team belts, your secondary belt, and then your primary belt, all in one faction together. So now, with them showing how much power they have, and pretty much the fact that they're protecting their titles and protecting, pretty much protecting their reputation. Because remember, Daniel Bryan was in a not an Iron Man match. I forget what the word for it is. A gauntlet match. There we go. He was in a gauntlet match with the Shield. And once Seth Rollins got beat, they didn't let Dean Ambrose get beat so that Dean Ambrose could still look strong. But also so that the Shield looks strong, and it's just like they're going to do whatever it takes, to ensure that they're still taken seriously, and that they're still considered strong. That's what they're about. It's a team effort between them. Um, Roman Reigns came in and stopped that, and then when Roman Reigns got put in the no lock, I say the yes lock, Dean Ambrose broke it up and made sure nothing happened. It makes the titles more coveted now, because that the Shield are going to do whatever it takes to make sure you don't get it from them, and to make sure that you don't get that WWE title. It makes them more worth it. I love the fact that the heels are currently, they've taken over. I love it. It's great. And I love this faction that they've put together, because now I care about the titles again. Remember that moment when we said, oh, once Dean Ambrose wins the title, it's going to mean something again. It really hasn't for a while. And now we have a reason for it to matter, because now they're a part of the corporation. The corporation is going to protect them and try to make sure that those belts don't get taken off of them. And once the faces are done being emasculated, they're going to want to, they're going to fight back. They're going to fight back. It's not going to happen immediately, because you still have to make the corporation look strong and make it look, that much more epic when they're finally beaten. But right now, I think the buildup is great, and that those three titles right now, the tag team, the U.S. Championship, and the WWE Championship, look very strong, because they're all working together. Granted, Randy Orton is going to come out in the middle of a Shield match and help out, but the Shield, who do have titles, are going to help out Randy Orton. They're going to come out and help Randy Orton make sure things stop. And even though Randy Orton isn't going to help them out, they're going to help each other out. Their whole goal is to protect the titles. And with Triple H as COO right now, and him kind of having the control that he has, he's going to do everything possible to make sure those titles stay on them, so that when those titles are finally removed from them, the face, whatever faces, wins those titles, they would have had to, work their asses off for that. And I like that. I really do like it. Triple H throughout the entire night was absolutely out of control. I mean, the man, okay, here's essentially what the man did. The man buried a dead guy tonight. He buried Doink the Clown. How do you do that? You can't bury a dead guy. You can't do that. He drew some sort of comparison to Daniel Bryan, to Doink the Clown. I forgot what it was, where it was just like, he was really popular with the fans, but it wasn't good for business, to make him WWE champion. I'm like, how are you gonna bury Doink the Clown? First of all, the guy's dead. Second off, he's Doink the Clown. That's fucked up. And then on top of and then after that, Triple H just kind of, went on, and he buried Big Show's ironclad contract, pretty much just saying, oh yeah, you have that ironclad contract, but fuck you. Your ironclad contract doesn't mean shit, because, if you don't do, what I ask you to do, I'm just, you're going to face the consequences for it. So he's essentially what they've done is that they've put Big Show in a financial hole, or to say oh, hey, well, you didn't make some great life decisions, so even though you have an ironclad contract, we can still do whatever, you're still at our whims. Essentially what they've done is that they've turned the tables on that contract from Big Show has this ironclad contract and can do whatever he wants, to Big Show has this ironclad contract, but we're the ones in control of that contract. It's almost like they're turning the tables here. So, it's almost like when like when a player gets, like it seems like they have all the incentives when they sign a brand new contract. But then the team puts this one weird incentive which ties him to the team, or, like whether it's like a no trade clause or something like that, where it's like a weird stipulation where all of a sudden, the team has all the control of him, even though he thought, like, oh, well, this is the greatest contract I could have gotten, possibly gotten. And then that one stipulation now completely flips it around and puts the team in control and just makes the worst contract possible for him, and he's stuck in a shitty situation. That's essentially what they've done with Big Show. I kind of like it. I don't like the angle they're taking on it because it's like financial, and people were commenting the entire night. They did this with Shawn Michaels. So yeah, that was our opening segment, and then we went on to a backstage segment with Randy Orton and Triple H, who just sitting there, they're buddies, they're pals. It's hilarious, when they're in the back together. They're just joking and laughing around, and they run into Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes, makes a few comments. He tries to stay as neutral as possible, so that and he's like suggesting, oh, Randy, maybe you should just go and fight Daniel Bryan because that's what's good for business. And you know that the second you say that, and Triple H actually went, "Oh, you're talking about what's best for business. Guess that's my cue." And he goes there and he tells Cody Rhodes what's good for business. He tells Cody Rhodes he has a match against Randy Orton, and if Cody Rhodes loses, he won't be working here much longer. Now the backstory to this is that, well, what's really happening is that WWE is giving Cody Rhodes a vacation, essentially. He is about to get married to, I can't remember what the girl's name is. I believe, hold on, let me see here. I'm going to see if I can bring it up or not. Yes, she used to go by the name, I think her real name is like Kaylee Turner, but her wrestling name was Eden Styles. They're getting married apparently soon, and this was kind of their way to like write him off the show to allow him to go ahead and be married and enjoy his honeymoon and yada yada yada. I don't know when he'll be back. It may be like a month. It may be a few weeks from now. Who knows? But it gives him, it gave him a chance for Cody Rhodes to really get over, which is good for business. It's all he's subliminally doing what's good for business, and the best part about Triple H too is that I still believe he's the face here. He is face. He's not heel. He's totally face. He's just playing a heel persona. Just like when AJ Lee shot that promo. Yeah, she's playing a heel, but in reality, she's a face because she got the wrong reaction to that promo. She got applause. She got cheered. She got chants, which is absolutely ass backwards for a heel. That's not what it should be. I'm totally convinced that Triple H is really, in reality, a face, and he is legitimately doing what's good for, doing what's best for business. I keep saying good for business because Smalls is, because of Smalls' Triple H moments. By the way, I thought it was weird that, in the beginning of the night, Triple H goes, oh, I'll bring back the cruiserweight belts if I have to, and I'm like, and he mentioned the European title too. I'm like, he's been watching his stuff. There's no way he hasn't. He can't deny it. Smalls came out with a video about him bringing back the Cruiserweight Championship and winning it, and bringing back, well, not the European, but the Hardcore Championship and winning it. This guy has been watching his stuff and has been making his promos and is living off of this. There's no denying it anymore. I don't care what you say in the comment section where you're like, oh, you really think you're really watching it? Yes, they are. They are. There's no hiding it anymore. It's too parallel. It's either that or Smalls is secretly working for WWE and he hasn't said anything yet. That it can only be that. But anyway, Cody Rhodes is getting married to Eden Styles. Really gorgeous looking girl too. They have like kind of like the same like that eye thing going on where like both of their eyes are kind of like opaque. Or like like they kind of I don't know what the word is, like it's that like they're very like visually like your eyes just kind of like focus on their eyes because they're kind of piercing isn't the word, it's just I don't know, like you know what I'm talking about with Cody Rhodes, like how his eyes are like that weird shade of like light blue where it's like it's very kind of like uh I don't know. Anyway, they've both got that going on. Congratulations to the both of them. I hope they're married for like fucking forever. Cody Rhodes can make the third generation star of the Rhodes family and have a nice caramel child be the new face of WWE. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Moving on. The next match was. Let me bring back up my Raw results here. The next match. Oh right. Oh god, I gotta remember this. The Miz versus Fandango or Fandango. I'm pissed off about this match for two reasons. As fun as I thought a Miz and Fandango match, feud was gonna be after SummerSlam, after watching them in the ring last night, I'm very pissed off. Very, very, very pissed off. The Miz did something on Friday Night SmackDown that I thought he would never be able to do, and essentially what he did was that he made himself not hateable. Like, he didn't make me want to punch him in the face. And I know that the whole corporation storyline has a lot to do with it, but the fact that when he was on SmackDown and he did his Miz TV segment where he brought out Big Show and Dolph Ziggler, the fact that he wasn't doing the whole awesome or really, really thing, I mean, he's just like, all that is like very cringeworthy to me, and he just comes off unnatural. For the first time since I've started watching wrestling again and I've watched The Miz, this was the first time I just saw Miz being human, just being natural, not being stupid or making me want to punch him in the face. He was natural, and I actually cheered for him against. I believe he went up against Randy Orton. He had that match against Randy Orton, and I actually got behind him. Then he does this to me on Monday night. First, he from what I've heard is that the doctors say that Fandango has a broken nose. He has some sort of nose injury, which pisses me off already. Then on top of that, the match still went on anyway, but on top of that, Fandango loses to Miz in what is the worst looking figure four leg lock I have ever seen in my life. Please, can we get the figure four leg lock off of this guy? Please, he's ruining it. It's terrible. He's not meant to do this finisher. This should have never been bestowed upon Miz. Just at least Cena has like the STF. It has very little, what big name, like Hall of Famers, I can think of a few, but, at least like the STF, like, it's not like, Ric Flair or Bret Hart submission move where it's just like, oh, this is a Hall of Famers, like, for somebody to have this bestowed upon him, it's it's such a great honor, and he should carry it with such pride, like, this guy deserves it. No, like the STF for John Cena, it's just an STF, and it looked shitty, and we make fun of him for it. But, with The Miz getting the figure four leg lock and having Ric Flair bestow it upon him, just, no. He doesn't do it right, and it looked shitty. It legitimately looked like shit. Like, he couldn't get his legs folded into the figure four. Instead, it looked like a figure half. It just looks half-assed, and when Fandango, like, he didn't even lock it in correctly, and Fandango tapped out, like, within a second of him, like, just, like, pretending to, like, lay down and put on the figure four. He tapped out within a second of it, and he was, like, hitting the mat I don't get it. No, Fandango should have never tapped to that. He should have made Miz try that again and gotten it right. He should have never, ever tapped out to that. That was horrible. Horrible. The Miz needs a new submission move. He does. I'm sorry, he can't do the figure four anymore. He can't. He needs to find a new submission special because this isn't it. This is not it. It doesn't work for you. It does not work for you. It doesn't. Move on. Get a new fucking, submission finisher because you fucking suck at the figure four. It is horrible. It is bad. I see you botch this thing all the time. They look horrible. I mean, essentially what Johnny Curtis Fandango tapped out to was having his legs crossed. He lost to having his legs crossed. That should never happen. Never. Oh man, that match just pissed me off so much. That should never happen again. So moving on. The second match of the night was Ryback versus Dolph Ziggler. I was really like, Dolph Ziggler was in the ring. He was waiting for his surprise opponent, and Dean Ambrose of the Shield comes out and just kind of goes off on Dolph Ziggler, which I like, because essentially what that did was that it made a Dolph Ziggler loss to Ryback believable. Um, because what does Dolph Ziggler losing to Ryback really do? Like, because in a way that's almost like, because Ryback's been dicking around backstage and he's been losing matches or just leaving matches before this. But with Dean Ambrose ambushing Ziggler and just like beating the shit out of him before Ryback really came out and that was his opponent, it made a it gave Ryback a victory that he really needed, because he's getting over with this Dick Ryback gimmick. It's great. I fucking love it. I think it's awesome. He's getting over with this Dick Ryback gimmick, and you need to make him look strong, because I still believe that he's a corporate guy. He's definitely a corporate guy. He's a corporate guy, and I feel like he's going to play a role in some stuff, so you have to make him look stronger as while he's also creating havoc backstage. So instead of a backstage segment, he was a dick to Dolph Ziggler, essentially. And with Dean Ambrose coming out and beating him up and softening him up and everything, Ryback went out and beat Dolph Ziggler. It gave Ryback a win that he needed over a guy who is a mid-card, upper-card kind of guy. I consider Dolph Ziggler upper-card. I know some people would say, no, he's more mid-card, whichever. I think the guy has, good enough mic skills, and not even good enough. He has great mic skills in my eyes now. And he's, a very good performer in ring that I would consider him an upper-card. But he's kind of in that purgatory stage right now. But I like Dolph Ziggler, but it gave Ryback that win that he needed over a guy like Dolph Ziggler, which he hasn't had in a while, since that whole John Cena feud. And, but it also, it doesn't make it look like, oh, Dolph's getting, buried, or, he's being made to look so weak. No, it's like, oh, he got ambushed, so it makes sense that Ryback won. So I like that. After that, Stephanie McMahon came out with Big Show, in the ring, and pretty much just buried the shit out of Big Show and his ironclad contract, and pretty much saying that if he didn't perform tonight, he's breaching his ironclad contract. And that's this is what I mean about turning the tables of that ironclad contract against them. I'm so glad that they're acknowledging it, and now they're burying the shit out of it, because that's what you have to do. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, he has this ironclad contract, and have the fans sit there and chant about it and never bring it up. So I'm glad that they've acknowledged this and found a way to deal with it. I actually really like what they're doing. I don't like the angle so much, because because Stephanie's saying oh, Big Show's broke and no job would ever take him. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a 7 foot 500-pound giant. Somebody's gonna take him. Somebody will give Big Show work. They will. And she was like, oh, what are you going to be, the world's largest gas attendant? I kind of laughed at that. That was funny. But I didn't really care for the whole angle of, oh, you're broke, you have a family to take care of. It just, that felt a little forced to me. Anyway, moving on. Primetime players against 3MB. I don't get this match. I don't get it. Because I like primetime players. I like that they're getting a push, but I don't like the reason why they're getting a push. I mean, I understand that WWE is going to take advantage of any media coverage that they get, and this is a good time to take advantage of that and get the primetime players over, because they're fun in ring. It was funny when Jinder Mahal was in the corner, and Titus O'Neil pretty much puts him in timeout and blows a whistle and is sitting there stomping him out. That is hilarious. That needs to be put over. It's great. I love it. But I just I don't like the fact that they're getting pushed for what is the obvious reason. I mean, granted, I think they've deserved this push and have, deserved it for a long time, so I'm not complaining about the push. I just don't like the reason why they're being pushed. But that's not why I didn't like this match. The reason why I didn't like this match is because 2 weeks ago, or has it been 3 weeks? I forget how long it's been. I'll say it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, primetime players started a feud against the Real Americans, and honestly, I thought there was so much that they could have done with this that they didn't do. But I like that they didn't do it because then it's like WWE can say that we legitimately gave the primetime players a push. We didn't do the whole gay thing, which I thought was, when I heard the Real Americans name and I heard primetime players coming out, I legitimately thought that Zeb Coulter would have went off about homosexuals in America, and that's how primetime players would get this push. I thought that was what was gonna happen. I'm glad that they didn't do that, but I liked it. When Real Americans and primetime players fought. The only thing I didn't like was that primetime players was blowing through the Real Americans. And that's just not realistic at all when, Antonio Cesaro is a part of the Real Americans, because we know that man can put on a hell of a match and is really strong. See that 30-minute match between Daniel Bryan and Antonio Cesaro. End of story. So they're pretty much blowing through the Real Americans, but then they play 3MB, and 3MB is competing with them. They're competing with 3MB. Last time I checked, I can't even remember the last time 3MB won a match. I can't. I'm dead serious. I watched a WWE, what is it, Superstars or main event. There it is. I watched a WWE main event match as I was going through WWE's YouTube page. I'm dead serious. Zack Ryder had a match against Heath Slater, and Heath Slater, who is still being shown on the main roster, who is still, even though he gets squashed every match pretty much, couldn't even win on main event against Zack Ryder. He couldn't win against Zack Ryder. So why in God's name is primetime players struggling against 3MB? Why is this happening? This is terrible booking. Who the fuck decided to let 3MB even let that match get close with primetime players? Shouldn't have been. Shouldn't even gone on for as long as it did. I expected that to be a 3-minute squash match. Instead, I believe it went on for about 6, 7, 8 minutes. It was around that territory. And that's what pissed me off the most about it, was that primetime players were legitimately struggling against 3MB. And yet they blew through the Real Americans. Because that doesn't make Antonio Cesaro or Jack Swagger look good. Granted, I'm not really a Swagger guy. I'm more of a Cesaro guy. But you're going to tell me they're weaker, that, that 3MB are better performance than Real Americans? No. Stop. Come on. Do Real Americans some more justice than that. I mean, I love the primetime players push, but that really pissed me off. It really did. That one got under my skin. All right, so after that, we had our which I thought was the best match of the night. I loved this match. I thought it was great. And it was a great way to send off Cody Rhodes and also to get him over because, I mean, he really got the crowd behind him, and he really looked very good in the ring. He's like, a lot of people were saying Cody Rhodes isn't good on the microphone, like he's not great. Honestly, I think he's solid. I think at times his acting gets a little but when he's serious and he's very good, and when he wants to be funny, he's very good. When he has to be somewhere in the middle, okay, maybe that's where he falls off a bit. But I like Cody Rhodes. I do. But I like that this match really got him over with the fans. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, I believe this was right before. This was the match I saw. I saw it all the way through before I left. Where, Cody Rhodes was actually hanging in there with Orton. I mean, he was giving Orton a fight. This had a commercial break in between it. I'm pretty sure this was like a 15-minute match or somewhere around that territory. And Cody Rhodes hit Orton with I want to say it was a disaster kick once. And then at some point, Orton started to take over again after he hit that off the ropes DDT. And he starts doing his Viper, boom, boom, boom. And he goes for the RKO, and Cody Rhodes actually reversed it and got it into the crossroads. And I am dead serious. The second that happened, I seriously believed that Cody Rhodes was about to beat Randy Orton. Are you serious? This is about to happen? And then in my mind, I said, what does Randy Orton beating Cody Rhodes do? I'm sorry, what does Cody Rhodes beating Randy Orton really do? I mean, yes, it would, kayfabe save his job, but what does it accomplish? Like, because then it doesn't make Randy look that well. I don't want to say it doesn't make him look that strong because it was a hell of a match. It does make Cody Rhodes look stronger, which I like. But what is like? It kind of hurts Randy Orton in the WWE title for him to lose to Cody Rhodes right now. Um, and I thought about that after he kicked out of two and a half, because I seriously thought that was it. I thought it was over. Um, but like it didn't make sense for Randy Orton to lose to Cody Rhodes. I love the match. It was great. The victory was. I still think this victory was clean. I thought it was a legit victory, even though like what happened. I think Cody Rhodes went for the disaster kick again, and Cody Rhodes came down and soul twisting his knee, and then Orton took a shot at his knee and then RKO'd him for a win. I thought it was legit. I liked it. I loved the match. It was great. It was a nice way to put Cody Rhodes over and let him enjoy his marriage and whatnot. Because after that match, Triple H fired him. But we know he's gonna come back. He'll come back. But I liked it. After that, and this is where I had to rewatch everything, so I don't know what it really looked like on television. I watched it on Hulu, and we all know WWE will edit stuff before it goes up, so I don't know what happened. But before we actually get into this number one contenders match for the Divas Championship, I want to talk a little bit about AJ's promo from last week. I thought that AJ's promo from last week was not even one of the best, probably the best women's promo I've ever heard. So, and I'm like, there's some idiots on the internet that I'm like, listening to and watching, and they're like, oh no, Lita's retirement promo. Oh God, no, this is completely different than that. Like, of course you're gonna pick the retirement promo, yeah, because she's retiring. Yeah, it's a great moment. Yeah, we're gonna cheer. We're all gonna be happy. Yeah, no, this is in the middle of AJ's career. It's a big moment for her to come out and to pretty much just kind of shoot on the divas like that was awesome. Do now there have been some CM Punk comparisons to it. I see it a bit. But this felt like AJ Lee's promo, and it was a legit, and it was a nice shoot. I think to say like, oh, she's just trying to be CM Punk is selling her short, because like the way that she approached this and the way her her character is, this doesn't have CM Punk written on it. Like when CM Punk did this, it was a legitimate shoot against the industry. Like he went after, I mean that guy went after Vince McMahon. Went at and was trying to establish himself as the best in the world. It's completely different to that pipe bomb and any other promos that he does where he's where he's calling Triple H Paul Levesque and he's talking about how all this is personal. This was more about, for AJ, the fact that they're getting this push, the Total Divas, and don't try to act like Total Divas isn't a push and that the Bellas aren't getting some sort of push here. They are. The Bellas are getting a push. They are. Don't try to deny that for 1 second. The Bellas are getting a push. The Funkadactyls are getting a push. Who else? Natalia is getting some sort of a push. Essentially, what is happening here is that even though AJ Lee is WWE champion, and that she has the most Twitter followers, and that she's respected by everybody in those stands, the attention right now of the Divas division is completely focused on Total Divas, which makes this shoot and this promo that she put together completely believable and relatable to the audience. Something that the Bellas could never do. Something that Natalia is starting to do, and something that I haven't really seen the Funkadactyls do. And I think the best part, the thing that annoyed me the most about the promo were the Bellas. They're sitting there during the entire promo and pretty much yelling, "Say it to my face!" I'm sorry, they're with Eva Marie too, which is great. Yeah, the one person who hasn't even, she has wrestled a match which looked bad. The one person who shouldn't be saying anything and who hasn't even gotten anywhere in her career in wrestling. Yeah, oh, she's hot, she's pretty, she's done Maxim. Who gives a fuck? When you're in the ring, I care about if you can wrestle or not. Listen, if you think she's hot and pretty and you want to jerk off to her, that's fine. I mean, that's great. I care about what you do in the ring. Once it's wrestling, I care about what goes on in the ring and your promoing abilities, because those are the things that matter. Those are the things that get you over. It doesn't I think people don't really understand that. Like, yeah, I get it. Eva Marie's hot. It's great. I think she's hot too. Wonderful. But I need to know what she can do in the ring, which is why I hated it. On top of like, well, granted, the Bella twins were really the ones squawking the entire time. It was very annoying. But the Bella twins, the entire promo were just kind of like, say it to my face, or all you do is skip, blah blah blah. I'm like, can you just shut up for 3 seconds? Just for 3 seconds, and let the woman put on right now, which is just the best thing that has been happening for the Divas division right now. The best thing. AJ Lee is what's best for business. And her shooting that promo was great. I loved it. And the fact that the Bellas just couldn't shut their fucking mouths for just 1 second. Like, the fact that they had to make themselves the center of attention. Like, and I know that people say that, like, they're just getting heel heat. Like, any sort of heat is good heat. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because the Bellas have that sort of heat that makes me want to change my television. The Bellas give you that sort of heat that makes you want to go on a piss break. The Bellas have the sort of heat that just makes you hate wrestling. She does. Oh, and the thing that I hated the most about that match, and I'm gonna get into this about the number one contenders match too, was that Natalya lost that match before AJ came out and did the promo. Natalya lost that match to Brie Bella, which, first of all, is not believable at all, and second of all, she lost it to a face buster, which is now apparently Brie Bella's finish now. The face buster, which they're also calling, what is it, like the Bella Buster or the Brie Buster or something stupid like that. She lost on a face buster, and it wasn't even a strong looking one. It was weak. A very weak looking face buster is what Natalya lost on. Natalya, who kicked out of a fucking glam slam from Beth Phoenix when Beth Phoenix was in Buffalo and, was pretty much performing in front of her home crowd. She kicked out of a glam slam, and now you want me to believe that she's going to lose to a fucking face buster? Get out of here. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. This is why nobody cares about this division. The reason why I'm so invested into this thing is because it's a part of Raw. I like to watch the entire product. I like everything about wrestling, whether it's the men's division or the women's division. All of it should matter. All of it should be good. All of it should be wrestling. And instead, we get a complete bullshit product from the Divas division. And the fact that, AJ put on that promo and was sitting here talking about, when she looks in the ring, and that in most cases, yes. That in most cases, yeah, you're looking at out into that ring, you're watching actresses and models who couldn't cut it in their field, so they came to the WWE to make some sort of break. That is unbelievably true. It's happened over the course of history in WWE where you just see not even just women, but you see guys like that too. I mean, it's very, I don't want to say it's arguable, but The Miz is a reality television guy. Is he a WWE fan? I can't really call that one. From what I've seen, yes, he is, but we know, this is a guy that wants to act. This is a guy that wants to focus on his television career, and WWE helped him catapult himself to, some sort of stardom. And that's what happens sometimes with a lot of times with the divas, and sometimes you see that with the male wrestlers, where this is just a way for them to catapult themselves to getting what they really want. Or at times, if they're failed at whatever their real profession was, this is their way to just kind of make ends meet, or to kind of get themselves into what they couldn't really have. And for AJ to say that, and to say that wrestling is her one true love. It's totally believable. It's completely believable. unbelievably believable. And for Arion to go on Twitter and talk about, oh, I can go to bed every night with a clean conscience. I'm like, are you serious? First of all, you were the first one kicked off of WWE's Tough Enough Season 5. You were the first one gone. You said that your favorite match, because you love wrestling so much, your favorite match was Melina versus Alicia Fox. Yeah, that match that which there's like 4 or 5 of online, but the most popular one is the one where Alicia Fox comes out and gets squashed in 2 minutes by Melina. And where the one where she wants to become undefined Divas champion. Yeah, that match, yeah, really up there on my favorites. I mean, this is a person who legitimately enjoys wrestling, and the people that are sitting there like trying to make comebacks with her, oh, girl, bye, or oh, all you do is skip. Listen to me. You can say what you want about AJ Lee, being put in a position where she kind of just got like she got to, just be with main event guys. Listen, it's more than that because you can be with a main event person and still be completely unbelievable, or or make us want you just nowhere near it. Granted, there are times where I've seen AJ Lee with Ziggler and I'm like, okay, this needs to end. There are times where that's happened, yeah. But I look back on, but I've gone back and I've watched, some of her old stuff with CM Punk, with Daniel Bryan, with Kane, with Cena, and I see somebody who had great, even when she was like Raw general manager or something like that. I just saw someone with unbelievable charisma. Well, I don't want to say unbelievable. She just has great charisma. She's believable. And her character, whether she's been face or heel, her character's been great. I've loved her, and that's why that promo just kind of brought me back in. Like I started to believe in AJ again. Fast forward to the number one contenders match now, which is a triple threat match between Naomi, Natalya, and Brie Bella. And if you hate a Divas match where it's 1-on-1 or a tag team, you really hate a triple threat match between Divas. Here's what I did not like about this match. First, Brie Bella was dominating the match. No, I can't believe it. I just no. Brie Bella just like controlling a match. Just I cannot get behind that at all. No, not when Naomi and Natalya are in the ring. No, she can't be the one controlling the match. She can't. And because it just doesn't look believable. And going back to the whole facebuster thing with Natalya, kicking out sorry, not Natalya kicking out, Natalya losing to that, legitimately taking a 3 count. The thing that pissed me off the most was that Brie Bella hits that same facebuster on Naomi. She goes for the pin, and Naomi kicks out at 1.5. She kicks out at 1.5. How am I supposed to believe that? I can't believe that Natalya lost to Brie Bella on a facebuster. This is why I was pissed off last week about it. Naomi can't sit there and get hit with a facebuster that pretty much knocked out Natalya, and Natalya had to sell that. And then Brie Bella comes back the very next week, and then Naomi takes that very same move and kicks out at 1.5. 1.5. You can't do that. That's terrible because now I'm thinking Natalya's just really weak. Are you telling me that Brie Bella or Naomi is the strongest diva in this division? Are you fucking kidding me? No. No, seriously, somebody needs to get in here and make this make the Divas division just more legitimate. There needs to be wrestlers in this division because the more I watch these matches, the more I get pissed off because nothing makes any fucking sense. Nothing. And then afterwards, AJ Lee was out there on commentary and she's, just trying to continue to bury the Divas. And it just wasn't as believable as it was last week. And then AJ gets in the ring, she interferes and she tries to fight with the Divas. The fighting's just not believable. Like I hated the match. I hated the match. I hated what happened afterwards. I didn't believe in AJ anymore. Like the magic went away that quickly. It was gone. Like it just sucked. She put on that great promo last week, and then like I wasn't crazy about it this week. This week it didn't do it for me because then she got in the ring and all three of them jumped her and it just didn't look like she put on a fight really. She just got jumped and that was it. And it wasn't even like strong punches or strong slams or anything. Like it didn't look vicious. It didn't look like I didn't see three girls who wanted to take their anger out on AJ Lee. I just saw three girls who were told, "Hey, when AJ gets in the ring, just kind of like attack her. Whatever." It wasn't believable. I hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. So then we move on to match number 6, which it was an okay match. It was Rob Van Dam versus Damian Sandow. Damian Sandow still has the money in the briefcase, but at this point, I'm like, I'm just waiting. When's the moment that he cashes in so we can just finally stop losing? Because that's what happens every week. Damian Sandow just loses to Rob Van Dam. I'm sorry, Damian Sandow just loses to whoever he's going against. Is what I meant. Um, but I understand Rob Van Dam has to look strong because now he's the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, and he needs to win that. So I get that one. Van Dam, what happened in that match? Oh yeah, he won with a 5-star frog splash. That's all you need to know. Then we get to our main event, which Triple H set up. Big Show versus Daniel Bryan. And we all know what was going to happen here. They weren't really, really going to fight. Basically, it went to, I think it was a disqualification. The match went to Daniel Bryan. I believe that's what happened. During the entire match, Daniel Bryan's just kind of like, I know I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you. I don't care what Triple H says, blah, 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 blah. Big Show is like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight you. We don't have to do this. He talks about his family and everything. But Daniel Bryan just continues to provoke him, and Big Show fights him, and they actually start, kind of really wrestling and stuff. And at some point, Big Show had gotten, Daniel Bryan down. And Big Show balled his fist up to kind of go for his knockout. Which, by the way, the KO, I think, is the dumbest finisher ever. That might be the stupidest finisher ever. But I get, like, me and Smalls talked about this. I get why they had to make this his finisher. Because he needed something different because I forgot what his old finish was, but his shoulder and his arm is getting really tired and weak. So this was kind of like your replacement for it. But the reason why I don't like it is just because when Shawn Michaels has a super kick, at least that's set up with something, he's stomping in the corner and that when that kick comes, it's coming straight to his face and it's gonna hurt. But a punch is just something you normally do. With the side kicks that Daniel Bryan does, if Daniel Bryan had a super kick with that, I would believe the super kick still. The super kick would still look strong because it's just specifically a certain type of kick. Whereas the KO, it's a punch. That's all it is. It's a punch. And if the KO is actually as strong as what it's being made out to be, Big Show could win a match pretty much whenever you step in the ring. Just, all right, put him in the corner. Bah! Match is over. Why doesn't he do that? Instead, he goes to the corner and he does the bare fist. The open hand chops is woo woo and whatnot. I'm not crazy about his finisher. It's the Big Show. I mean, I love Big Show. I understand. He's been in this industry a long time. I don't hate the guy. I'm not crazy about his finish. So then, Big Show decides he's not going to knock out Daniel Bryan. He starts to walk over the ropes, and Triple H comes out and pretty much tells the Shield to go and attack Bryan. And Triple H says, "Hey, Big Show, go in there and do your job, and finish it, finish him, give him the KO." Then Stephanie McMahon comes out and encourages him and says, "Hey, look, do it, and you can have your job." Big Show threatens to kind of punch Triple H, but then, he goes to the corner, he starts his crying, and instead he goes and just punches Daniel Bryan in the face. He leaves, he's crying, it's, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are sitting here and, patting this guy on the back, and you're trying to make him feel better. This poor emasculated giant. And then Randy Orton goes... he does his little Viper stance. He just I love Randy Orton just not saying anything. just him not saying anything and him just kind of like slithering in the ring. Like I'm sorry, not literally. This is a human viper. Like if a viper had legs, this is it. And he's just kind of like slithering in the ring, like he's just looking, just like he's just staring at him, just like he's very animalistic, and I love it. It's great. Like this is what Randy Orton needed to be. This is the character that he needs to be. He just needs to do animalistic things and let somebody else talk for him, and he's fine. And then he goes and he just like slowly like picks up his belt and he looks at Daniel Bryan and then he just kind of moves up, puts his foot on him, raises his belt up, and it was great. I love the way that it ended for that, but I'm still waiting for the moment that the faces uprise. Like, when is it finally going to come? I thought Raw overall tonight was it was okay. Wasn't crazy about it. I just thought it was okay. A lot of low points, very few high points. I just thought it was mediocre. It was okay. But I think they're going to come back next week with something a little stronger since it's since it's the night before. Since it's the last Raw before Night of Champions. Oh right, I forgot. Somewhere in this whole thing, CM Punk cut a promo where he's like, "You may not like the things I do, when I get my hands on Paul Heyman, but I promise, I'm gonna break his." He's like, Paul Heyman said I broke his heart. Well, I'm gonna break his face. It's like, and the reason why I completely forgot about this is that they've been kind of saying the same thing for 3 weeks now, and CM Punk kind of addressed that too, where it's just kind of been like, what else am I gonna say? We've been saying everything, everything that needs to be said already. So yeah, that was Raw. What did you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Do you kind of agree with what I'm saying here? Especially about Miz needing to let go of that finisher. The Primetime Players push. What did you think about the Divas match? I don't know. Leave your comments below. Once again, congratulations to Cody Rhodes. I hope you have fun being married and have a wonderful honeymoon. I can't wait to see you back. This is Blackjack. This is the main event Swerve. Join me again next week or whenever the fuck I feel like recording another episode of this. But I'm out of here. 2-1. Out.